Amazon just laid off 16,000 employees. And in this video, I want to break down what that means for you and your situation. So you can see this is big news just even within the last couple hours of all of this things popping off. Amazon cutting 16,000 jobs. The AI battle intensifies. Like, this is a big deal. And not only Amazon, but also UPS is cutting 30,000 jobs. And you can see here just a few hours ago, Amazon put out a statement about how they're making these cuts, and it's going to apply to 16,000 roles across Amazon. And this isn't just like warehouse workers. This is like corporate high level people that are getting let go. So if you think that this doesn't apply to you, that could be the most dangerous position. More stability for your family, and how you can prepare and stay ahead of this so that when these things happen, you will stay in a good spot. So I want to dive right into today's video. This is from the trenches. I shoot a training like this live once every single week. By the way, if you don't know me, hi, my name is Sam. I went from 6 different jobs that allowed me to travel and do a lot of things that I loved, as well as building a company to $1 million a year. Now I mentor people to build their own freedom through this YouTube channel and through some private. And what that means for your situation, how you can prepare. If you want to jump right to that topic, you can skip a few minutes ahead and jump right into that. Otherwise, I'm going to share some of the things that I've been learning this week that might be helpful for you as you're thinking about progressing and growing as well. So just a couple things that I've been learning this week. I would say the biggest thing, and I'll probably just hit on this one, is the fact that no matter what success, or like no matter how successful or unsuccessful, or like how advanced or and am faced with the exact same things that the people who are just starting out are faced with when it comes to learning a new skill. And over the past like week or so, or what if I get it wrong, or like, what if I'm not good at it? Like, what if I break it or whatever? And it's ironic, but it's also a good lesson, because like these are the exact same things that I coach people on when it comes to their career, like leveling up in getting a better job or breaking into remote sales or whatever the thing is. Like, in order for you to grow, you're always going to be faced with that fear of failure, or the like, I don't know what to do, right? It's always uncomfortable, no matter what the level is, no matter if you're starting from scratch. So I just hope that's like encouraging for you and a good reminder, because it was a good reminder for me as well, is like, if you want to grow, if you want to get to that next level in your income, in your career, you are without a doubt going to have to get uncomfortable, right? Because like, if your comfort zone's over here and the thing you want is over here, it's like you can either have comfort or you can have growth, but you can't have both. It's like you're not going to grow in your comfort zone, right? And in order to build the new skill or to get to that next level, income wise, whatever, you have to get outside of that comfort zone and do the new thing, do the uncomfortable thing, so you can learn and grow, right? So that's been a great reminder for me. And there's a couple different things that I like went through to like how to handle that. So if you want to learn more about that, drop a comment. I can make another video on that. But that's like the key thing. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to like face those things head on if you want to grow. So diving into today's topic, guys, this is a big deal, right? Like I said, it's not only Amazon laying off 16,000 people, but also 30,000 jobs are getting cut at UPS as well. And this is like happening right now. So I want to break down what this means for your job and how you should be thinking about this, so that you are putting yourself in a position where you're not only secure, right? Like, so that you don't end up in this situation where you're getting let go, but also how to prepare, like, and how to grow, not only security, but also growth from there. And how, like, the solution is actually kind of the same, because if you really break this down, the number one reason that, so basically what happens when these cuts happen, right? You have a big company who's focused on profitability, and the CEO or high level management comes in and they're like, hey, we're losing money in XYZ area, or we could be more profitable in XYZ area. So they come in here and they look at all their resources, which, they're looking at people as resources at a big company, unfortunately. And they're just like, hey, we're going to make these cuts so that we can make more money. So that's basically what happens. It's as simple as that. And they're like, cool, we're cutting people, yada, yada. They make the announcement. They get a little backlash, but then everything just goes on. People still buy Amazon, right? But what happens if you're in this situation where a lot of times people get in a position where they're like, oh, I have a good job, right? And it might be like at a national level where people, like your friends and family, are like, oh my gosh, you have such a good job. You're working at Amazon as a manager or tech person or whatever. Or it might be more of a local level, right? Maybe you're working for the big company in your local area and everybody's like, oh, you're doing so good. You have a great job, whatever. And maybe you think you're doing good too because you're making $6K a month, $5K a month, $8K a month, whatever. But the problem is a good job can oftentimes be the most dangerous, because what happens is if you get passive where you are comfortable and you're like, cool, I'm making this money, blah, blah, whatever, but you're not growing your skills, you're not growing your network and like the people, like your opportunities, etc., then you become the number one target for layoffs like this, right? And especially in macro big picture, companies are tightening down, they're becoming more efficient, just for both like cost wise, because like maybe economically wise, like it's kind of a reduction season where like there's expansion seasons where people are hiring like crazy, they're building, expanding, etc. And then there's reduction seasons where people are cutting, trimming, etc. And we're in a little bit of a reduction season where a lot of these companies are making these cuts. That doesn't mean that there's no opportunity, because there's still tons of opportunity, but it's just a little bit tighter, it's a little bit more lean. But what happens is somebody gets in that good position with a role and then they get comfortable and, hey, I have a good job, whatever. But these companies are looking at you as an asset, as how much money they're making, how much are they bringing in. So if you're in a position where you're passive and you're just trying to like, you know, play it safe, stay under the radar, whatever, unknowingly you actually become the number one target for this. So what you want to do instead is you want to think about it like this, is go on offense. You want to go on offense. So because here's the deal, these companies are looking at their income and they're looking at their expenses and they're saying, okay, how do we make more profit? How do we make sure things are in a good spot here? And you want to be doing that same thing, but for you, right? Because it's you incorporated. It's not Amazon incorporated. Amazon is looking out for themselves and for their profit and their shareholders, whatever. But you have to be looking out for yourself and your shareholders, right? Which are your family, you know, the people that rely on you, that count on you, whatever. So you have to get, like, in order for you to succeed in this reduction season, is you have to get a little bit ruthless. You have to get a little bit aggressive, just like you were the CEO that's trying to like turn around or save a big company, right? And like sometimes that's uncomfortable, that's scary. It's two things. Right? You have to make your own cuts, right? In terms of like making sure you stay lean on your expenses, making sure like you're good financially, but then also like most people get that. Like that's like most people just do that out of fear of like cutting their expenses, whatever, so that like they're okay if they're getting let go, if they're afraid of getting let go, whatever. But like you always want to keep that as a good baseline. But what a lot of people get wrong is they go too scarcity focused and they're not focusing on the offensive side of things. So when you get passive, when you get stagnant, you become the number one target. And if you have the wrong perspective, the wrong mindset on it, then it just puts you in a position where you're not going to grow because you're trying to stay safe, right? So you want to go on offense. You want to think of yourself as you incorporated. How do I grow? How do I make these moves so that I can level up? The two things that you want to do within that are, number one, new/better skills, right? You want to think about, okay, how do I provide more value? How do I get better at different things that are new and innovating, or just improving at your function specifically, so you can either A, become irreplaceable at the company so that there's no way that they could let you go because of how much value you're producing, or that you can produce more value in a higher level position at your company or an external company, right? But you have to be thinking about, okay, how am I developing my skills? How am I getting better at problem solving? How am I looking at the overall picture of the company, what they're trying to do and what they're trying to achieve, and putting myself in a position where I become irreplaceable? And then not only like, again, internally, right, but then also externally. So you have to be thinking about it like, again, How am I making sure I'm cutting my overhead, like I'm keeping things tight financially for my profit and loss, for my, my expenses, whatever. And then also expanding, right? Going on the offense. Because most people just kind of hunker down and they try to stay safe and they try to stay under the radar, which is a huge problem, right? So you want to think about, okay, how do I build my skills? How do I get better at providing value? How do I become irreplaceable at either this company in the position I'm at, the company, the position that is next, right? Like the progression role, or an outside role. Because if you do that, then you always are going to have those options. And then 3 is what you want to do to provide not only security, but also, or in life, you think about like gardening, whatever, anything that's not growing, it's like you're either growing or you're dying, right? You're ripening or you're rotting. So you want to be thinking going on offense. How do I better my skills? How do I provide more value? Then also, how do I keep my community and my network fresh, right? Relationships equal options. So like if I, for some reason, lost my business and all my assets, whatever, like I just was out on the street, I submit their application, right? And they're waiting in line just like everybody else. So like if things would go bad in the economy, or you would get in a tight situation where you get let go and you have to like find something and whatever, that's the absolute worst position to be in, where you don't have the skills, right? You've kind of been passive and you don't have the network of the community. So you want to do the inverse of that, right? You want to be going on offense, you want to be building skills, and you want to be building and investing in your network so that you can have not only options if your main source would get cut, but also options for you to grow, right? Again, you're not just focused on how do I keep everything I have. It's like, how do I not only keep what I have, but how do I get to the next level internally, or get to the next level in an adjacent, or an external company? Because if you're not ripening, you're rotting. And if you're not growing, you're dying. So it's like, what's your growth plan? Don't just honker down, go on offense. Hope this is helpful. Hope this is valuable for you right now in your position. If you guys got some value from this, drop a like down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you liked best. And I'll see you guys on the next one.